What's up, everybody? We are live. Just want to welcome everybody out there. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Busy household, stressful household over here as well. So anyway, welcome to the JDF IG live show. We're bringing on a special guest, Sean, who plays Goku. He's coming in on the chat in just a second. Sean SCHEMMEL, he will be joining us. But first, I'm wearing the red athlete right here. Athlete hoodies are the best. I don't get paid to say that. I'm just telling you. My friend Justin sent me a whole bunch of these, and this is probably one of the most comfortable hoodies of all time. So I got a ton of them. So I'm wearing red and black. So I thought what was appropriate for giveaways today would be the red Zeo pictures. I have two of them. And we've been giving away stuff every day on Instagram, the JDF Instagram live show. We've given these out. We have given these out. These are all winners, by the way. I've posted them on Instagram. We have given these out. Not stopping yet. Giving these out. And we've also gave out White Ranger ones. So if you guys want to tune in, all you guys have to do is comment in the box below. Hello, everybody. Comment in the box below, and you can win some Zeo Ranger 5 signed autographs. It's pretty simple, just giving back to the community. I think everyone needs a little consistency during this time, and I certainly know things are hectic. I know stress and all that stuff's getting to everyone. Although I look always calm and peaceful, I do say I go through the same thing you guys go through. So I'm trying to... Power Ranger cup here. I'm trying to be consistent and give everyone a little hope during these times. We had Leo Rush, Chris Casamassa, Mike Rome, Jimmy J, Bat in the Sun that we had yesterday. And today we're going to bring voice actor, also a friend of mine, Sean SCHEMMEL, and he plays Goku and a ton of other anime stuff, movies. Not only is he a voice actor, he's an ADR director, musician, writer, everything from anime to video games. So today we're just going to chat. We're just going to talk. So I appreciate you guys tuning in today. I think Sean might be in, and he's going to push the request there, and then we're going to bring him in. All the content that we've had, all the lists that I've just showed you, the Leo, the Chris Casamassa, Mike Rome, Jimmy J, Bat in the Sun, all of them can be checked on my YouTube channel at JDFFFN. Every time we film, I repost it, so it gives some content for people during the times of need there. Let's see if Sean joined us already. We're going to take a look here, but I appreciate you guys tuning in, and let's see if he's there yet. Let me see. Not yet. So, Sean, when you're on there, just give me a thumbs up or a wave at me here. So, again, some of the stuff that we're just going to talk about is just life. I'm bringing you guys. I'm trying to be consistent. I was going to go live different times of the day. Jenna, if you're watching, Jenna set up this nice little light studio for me, so she's pretty talented. I trust her with cameras and all that stuff, and she's just doing her stuff, writing, singing. Talked to my friend Tony today. He bought his daughter a guitar, which I think is clever and smart to have her learn guitars or different language. There's a lot going on. Legend of the White Dragon helmet, I think, is pretty cool. This is just a mock-up one. Oscar did for me, but anyway, the real ones are coming. Anarchy and a few other cosplayers are making this amazing costume. So, but yeah, I just wanted to be a little consistent here with everyone and do this at the same time. I'll just tell you some of the lineups while we wait for Sean. Adrian Morrison, he is coming tomorrow, and not only do I want to bring, people, actors, he's a businessman. And he'll be on tomorrow as an entrepreneur, e-commerce, public speaker, most compelling social media expert right now on the internet and the web, over 10,000 students, and he's a Green Ranger, White Ranger fan as well. But he's a pretty much self-made millionaire on e-commerce, and does seminars around the world. He's going to be coming here tomorrow talking to the fans just for free. These guys are coming in, which is amazing. So he's going to give you some financial tips. Not only is this just Power Ranger comics and reviews and talk about stuff, also going to talk about finances and how to help the economy out a little bit, and maybe start yourself a business from online at home because those sales are going up. Chris Sabat, Vegeta is coming. Emilio Rivera, he's from Santa Anarchies and a ton of other stuff. Okay, let me pull Sean on. All right, thanks for keeping me heads up, guys. We're waiting for Sean. Here we are in 3, 2, 1. What's up?
Hey,
that was Eric's car. No sound. What's up? How are you? Are you doing good?
Yeah, well, I'm all right. I'm hunkered down in our house with my girl and my dog.
Yep.
And I love that you're doing this. I'm so impressed that you're. I'm not in the shower. I haven't been on camera in a while. I know what it looks like.
Yeah, great, man.
No, you do too. I love that you're doing this. I think it's so great that you are staying connected to all the fans and involving all of us. So
Thank you,
I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man. I mean, I was thinking, I was doing this thing consistent. I was going to jump different times and just tune in, but I think the world needs some consistency right now. And,
I agree.
And as you know, my schools are, on online social media. So the students are happy, but I'm not traveling. Everyone around the world with conventions, this whole thing is happening. And, dude, there's only so much I can watch the news. There's only so much I can do about it. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think it's important to understand the seriousness of this. And it kind of hit me surprisingly hard in the sense that, my doctor, I was about to do a convention a couple weeks ago, and my doctor was like, don't get on that plane. I'm like, what? He's like, don't get on that plane. And he reminded me, I haven't really been public about this, but I have an autoimmune disorder, and I'm 51, which everyone knows. But there are people in their 40s and 50s dying who are perfectly healthy, and of course, it's not a death sentence if you get it, but it is a serious thing. I have 3 relatives, all of whom could die. My mother, my father, and my brother all have health issues that if they got it, they could die. So. I like making jokes and goofing around and asking people what video games they're playing. I even penned lyrics to a parody of My Sharona called My Corona, but then I decided to not release it because I don't want to make fun of. Because it is serious. I mean, we're trying to entertain ourselves, but we also got to take this. This is a world pandemic, and we got to, we got to take it seriously.
Yep, I agree, man. There's a couple rappers out there that released a song called Corona Clap, and it went pretty viral. So a little humor, I think, is not bad. I mean, I know there's a lot of people, things going on, and I watch the news here and there because I want to be connected. But then the other day we're watching the news about please don't call 911 if you run out of toilet paper, and that segment was on about 5 minutes. And there's only so much we can watch. So I know everyone loves watching Power Rangers and Dragon Ball Z. It gets them, as you know, going to Comic-Con, it gets them out of their head a little bit. And now we don't.
And I think that's an interesting subject to talk about also, because like you and I, we're actors. We create content. We also have our things that we're fans of that help us escape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one of it is we love our fans interacting with them. That's an escape and also work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's enjoyable. Like I really appreciate. Like I see people in the comments already. Like I got an autoimmune disorder. I feel you, and they're like. Everybody, we're all in this together, and it just shows how we're all together. And so I've been like digging into my favorite shows and my favorite games and my escapism. I'm playing my guitar. I'm playing my French horn. I'm playing Neo. I'm finishing projects. I'm working with a company called Last Wolf Legion with Garrett Gunn, and we're producing some motion comics and stuff. And so we can do some background work, but we can't like how are you? Like I know you're always into training.
Yeah.
Like, how are you able to train effectively in your house?
Yeah, I got a gym in my house, a little dojo. Dealing with a few injuries. It's weird because during this time, I think I've been drained a little bit more, to be open and honest with people. A little bit more by, I think I work best under pressure. That's when I think I can make the decisions as a leader, is under pressure. And that's kind of what it's created, but it's also become a little draining as well. And I love refreshing myself on here and reminding people, we can only do so much. We got to live. We got to do our stuff. And if you could do things from home, like my friend just bought his daughter a guitar, Tony. And I said, does she play? He said, no, I'm just trying to give her structure. And we need that kind of. workout video games, whatever it is, we can't. And Netflix and you Dragon Ball Z and Power Rangers, everyone's rewatching the heck out of them, which is good, you know, but there's only so much we can do. And I appreciate you investing into the fans' emotional bank account. I love that, because the fans definitely love you, man.
Well, no, and I appreciate them, and I love what I do, and I'm really psycho-spiritually aware of the giant energetic circle of life that we're all involved in terms of the entertainment business. You know, and we know historically that when the shit hits the fan in various countries, that entertainment is what, like in the 20s during the Depression, people were still going to the movies. And so, you know, there's a lot of articles are like, you know, entertainers still want attention. And I'm like, I don't know if it's about attention for me. I enjoy making people happy. You know,
entertainment,
it's attention as much as it is I really get off if I do a good performance as Goku, or if I make somebody laugh on this, or in my Twitter, or I say something funny and it made somebody's day brighter. Last night I was laughing at some viral video of somebody playing guitar, and then they're dubbing it over some little 8-year-old kid going, what if you had a and then he's playing it, and I just couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, the kid is just cracking me up. Just little things like that release little dopamine squirts in your head. That as far as exercise for me, it's funny because last week I just bought a mountain bike, because I moved to a house that's right by a bunch of trails, and I used to love mountain biking. And I thought, I got to get a bike and get into it. I had to have them deliver the bike outside because I didn't want to go in the store, and they were like, yeah, a lot of our customers are asking, I'm not interacting with people, and then I want to take it out. My girlfriend's like, you're not going to catch a germ out in the trail, but you could break your leg, and if the hospitals are busy. So she's all like, I love that you got a bike, but maybe you shouldn't ride it yet. So I got a new bike in my garage, and I want to ride it so I can get some exercise. And and the other thing that worries me is, like, there's a bottleneck of money for certain people. Like, some people can't get food and they don't have money, and there are other people who have money and they can't get food. And so I'm like, you've got a large bottleneck and a convergence of things happening, and we're definitely relying on our governments and our medical professionals to make sure that all of that functions. Like, we've got Netflix and internet now, okay, but what if the line goes down? Are they going to send a guy out? Are they going to, or what if I haven't really wrapped my head around the supply chain bottlenecking globally yet, and I'm still thinking about that.
Yeah, that is true. I was watching some of the stuff, and they were saying they're going to try to protect businesses and give them money, but make sure make sure the employees are employees. So that's where the money is going. But it's the same thing. Things just don't, content, Instagram, the big engines, Netflix, the people that work there. I think that too. And I do watch a lot of. My dog's barking. I do watch a lot of stuff, different content as well to make me laugh. But I also watch. I watch things that. Hey Jenna, can you get that dog? Sorry. There you go. That's good.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna play.
Good. You're gonna have to play a little something, dude. Before you're gonna have to play something little something. Turn it up. But yeah, there's a lot of promises, and I tell people that all we can do, man, is we can just, if they're out of hospital masks and medical supplies, all our energy every day and every minute is just not going to help that unless you can help that field. So sometimes for me, like, dwelling on stuff gets I used to a lot, and then I used to dwell on things, and then I went to karate. So with my ADD, and I can dwell on, during doing certain things. That's why I brought my instructor, Chris Casamassa. He was Mortal Kombat and Scorpion, and I never talked to him about the industry. Like, me and you will we'll talk about watches. We're not going to talk about certain. I do see the love, your passion for voice acting, though, and acting in general.
Yeah.
So it's
we should tell them about our crazy idea for a movie where, like, you play like an MI6 secret spy badass, and I'm just a voice actor, and we end up getting stuck together. And, like, I got to help. Like, I go, I can't fight. And you're like, call the guy, do a voice, fool the guy. And then we get, like, cool, like, scenes where, like, it's a buddy cop movie, and I'm, like, terrible at fighting, but all I can do is fool people on the phone or wear disguises. Like, I'd love to do a remake of Wild Wild West with you. Not the original one from the 60s where I play Artemis Gordon, and then you play and we'd ride around in a train, and then we're, I don't know, I just... would you guys watch that movie if me and Jason were doing a martial arts buddy movie where I can't fight, and he does all the ass kicking, and then I fool people with my voice on the phone.
Sold,
Someone
dude.
would do a voice.
Sold. Just imagine if someone went in to pitch SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Like that pitch. There's a sponge, and then there's a pineapple.
Got square
this is way better than SpongeBob. This is way better than SpongeBob. I think it would be amazing, man. We should definitely.
Yeah. Oh, my computer just went up. What's that?
I said we definitely should. We got some. We got some time on our hands. Do some writing, and collaborating. That's for sure, man.
Well, and then the other thing that concerns me is like, you know, I'm gonna get all the concerns out of the way so we can have fun. Is like, you know, I'm worried. You know, I study biology and viruses a lot, and I've been reading a lot about this virus and how it functions. And I wonder if this, you know, and I'm kind of glad it's this virus and not another virus, meaning, you know, this is kind of a pandemic warm-up, meaning it's not like the bubonic plague. It's not instantly fatal. It's not, you know, but it is a very serious situation. And if we can use this as a warning to get ready. It causes more ice to melt. You can have viruses woken up. And there's a lot of things that can happen that can make things very serious in the future. And so I'm hoping that all the governments are especially ours, is learning from this.
Yeah, totally, dude. I think everything's meant to be, dude. I really do think that sometimes it's like, oh, but it could have been worse. You know, we wake up every day, we're breathing, you know, and it is, I think it is preparing. I mean, sometimes you'll lose a battle, but we're going to win the war. I already know it. And everyone's struggling and trying to get this stuff. And it's surprising because we, you know, all day long, you know, fans always say, well, what if you were this kind of ranger? What if Goku did this? There's a lot of what ifs in life. And some of the what ifs they ask, I don't have answers to because it's what if. You know what I mean? And I think it says, what would you like? You know, instead of the what ifs. But I was always one of those kids that were like, I tell my instructors, so true. I wish I told them on the phone, sir, what if someone strikes you like this? He'd be like, do the technique. Yeah, but what if it's someone does this? And he would get so mad because I would say, what if? And he would say, what if your aunt was your uncle? I was a kid. And so I'm hashidashin and I'm thinking, what if your aunt was your uncle?
That sounds like a Ben Cohen.
So I never asked, what if again? Yeah. Never asked.
What if your aunt was your uncle? You know? And well, so I was wondering, like, so you got into martial arts really young. Like, what was your entertainment escape when you were like some of the same age as some of these young kids who like Power Rangers or Dragon Ball? Like when you were 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, what were you watching?
I was collecting comics, but I was really into karate, man. I spent my whole day there. But it's funny, I collected comics and then I sold my comic book collection to buy my first karate school. So I had to give up that comic book collection just to
That's
get
an interesting lesson in attachment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was
attachment. Like, so you have something you're very attached to emotionally, and you had to make a mature decision around, can I let go of this thing I'm attached to for something that you don't even know you're going to like or benefit you? Yep. You know what I mean? Like, or are you talking about when you created a school? Are you talking
when I was younger, before I got a Power Rangers, I had my first school when I was just turning 18. So I had to give that comic book collection up. I paid, 60 cents a book. I collected pretty heavy. So yeah, it was one of those things where I had to let it go to get a franchise fee. And when I started rebooking comic books, Comic-Cons, I said, I'm just going to look around and see the books that were sold that I gave away, and never got a chance to look around because the fan base is amazing. But I grew up on, like, I would say Robotech was one of my things that I would watch. And then Tony Oliver was the voice of that, of Rick Hudson.
Yeah, I know Tony. He's awesome.
Dude, and when I started doing Power Rangers, he was our ADR director. Then Tony did the voice, and then Tommy didn't have a last name, so Tony Oliver's like, let's make it Oliver. So that's how that got established. Tommy Oliver, and then David Yost, Billy Cranston, who did the Zordon movie, big actor. Bryan Cranston, he named David's character because he was doing monsters for like $100 at that time, and then they said, okay, well let's name David's character Billy Cranston. So that's how he got his last name.
So is that based on like a relative of Bryan Cranston or Bryan Cranston's actual name?
He was the actor. He was just the actor who did, Zordon, the big actor. I forgot all the other stuff he does, but he just came in and was like a voice actor and was like, this character don't have a last name. Well, let's give him my last name. So they gave him Cranston. So
that's dope.
Yeah. So it was, the underground, I guess, ADR voice world is very, I'd say very small, but it takes a lot of talent to do that. And I was, so Robotech, Transformers, G.I. Joe, the Knight Rider. I used to watch Knight Rider.
Man, I love Knight Rider. I love Knight Rider.
Chips. I mean, Bionic Man.
I watched the Bionic Man. I watched. In fact, I'm really glad. Like for me, most of my childhood heroes, I have indirectly or directly gotten to meet just because they stick us all in the same green room.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh my God, there's Buck Rogers. Oh my God, there's the cast of Star Trek Next Generation. Holy shit. And I'm geeking out. And now when I go in the green room, one of the things that thrills me is if I walk in the green room and Jonathan Frakes is in the green room, he'll say hi to me before I can say hi to him. That just makes my fucking day.
Dude, I got a lot of people.
I had a plate of food and I got to nod at him and go, Commander, as if I was walking by him on some hallway in the Enterprise. He is such an amazing guy. That whole cast is amazing, and that's what I watched. Next Generation, every episode at least twice. I had the Star Trek Next Generation technical manual. I read it cover to cover. I was a huge Star Wars nerd. I had the Jedi code on my wall, and of course I was playing my horn all the time. I was a professional French horn player, and I was practicing 2 or 3, 4 hours a day, playing in orchestras, trying to be a good player. Oh, someone was asking me earlier. They said, these are my thoughts, and I'm telling you them. What guitars I play? I have 3 guitars. I've gone through a lot of guitars. I've settled on 3. One I just got recently. This is a McNaught 24 3/4 inch.
It's nice.
Sounds very much like a Les Paul. It's mahogany. Then I have a Joe Satriani limited edition. Well, not limited. It's a normal purple Joe Satriani Satch, which is probably one of my favorite guitar. And then in the corner is a 2007 Ibanez Universe 7-string. And then I have him over here a Michael Tobias Designs bass. And I play Engelbert Schmidt French horns, which are the best horns in the world as far as I'm concerned. A bunch of horn players are going to get on there and argue with me. But they're really great instruments. And they do so well. Oh, wow, I just got a text from Michael Sinter Nicholas. He just texted. I just saw that. I texted him a while ago. That's funny. I get texts from everybody. It's so cool that we're part of this, Jason. Like, what's really cool is, like, if we didn't have the internet and we didn't, like, the coronavirus would be in a much worse situation if we didn't have the internet. That kind of covered our asses in terms of, well, not totally, but it covered our asses a little bit in terms of, like, lack of preparedness. Because if you had a lack of preparedness and the kind of communication that you and I grew up with, just a phone, no internet, making a long distance call was, you weren't doing that. Yeah, typewriter, sending a snail mail. If you had that and we're trying to warn everybody, like the data we get from Italy, the data we get, globally is so much faster. I think the internet's playing a big role in helping with the coronavirus. It's also spreading a lot of misinformation, but the logic's real simple. I mean, viruses are very tiny. You're not interacting with other humans, you're probably not going to get it. You're interacting with other humans, chances go up you're going to get it. So I worry about. I have to go out and do the grocery shopping. My girlfriend has a TBI she's had for a year, a traumatic brain injury. She slipped in the bathroom almost a year ago, so it makes it very difficult for her to drive. And so I got to go out and get the groceries. And I'm like, man, if I'm at the store and I get sick, she might survive it. She's 39. I'm 51. I'm thinking about all this going. Shit, I'm actually, for the first time in my life, I've never had, like, I lived in New York. Shit, I remember in my 30s, one time I dropped a roll in New York. I just picked it up and ate it. I dropped it on the ground. Yeah, and I was like, on my way to work, I dropped a roll on the way to work. I'm like, I'm hungry. Fuck it. Kids. I'm cursing. So, but, but I don't do that anymore. It's like, I've got hydrochloric acid in my stomach. I've got immune system. But now I got sick in December for about 3 weeks, and I hadn't taken antibiotics since like 1998 on purpose. And my doctor's like, you got to take these antibiotics or you're going to die. And I said, that's what I'm waiting for. And so I took them and I got well, but I was sicker than I had been in 20 or 30 years. And I was really surprised. And then my doctor said, oh yeah, I did some more testing. You have a stage 3 cascading autoimmune disorder and you can't eat the following foods, which is pretty much, I can eat chicken, certain vegetables, no lectins, no legumes, no nightshades. I'm basically on the paleo autoimmune diet with only chicken. And I can't eat like Goku anymore. I used to. Sorry, I just went on a ramble there. I'm a little distracted by everything. I've got you and everybody saying stuff. Can you play something? What was I playing? Let's see.
That's what I was going to ask.
Play some
I always wish I could play. I just never played a guitar. I wish I could.
You play any instruments?
No, my instructor, one of my workers who worked for me, bought me a guitar I've always been intrigued by it. Maybe I should start doing it now.
It is almost exactly like martial arts from a discipline perspective. In other words, you're doing something physical very slowly until you get it right, and you're thinking about it, and then you build up speed, and it's regular, consistent discipline. You'd probably be a great guitar player just from the discipline you have from martial arts alone.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I didn't get into martial arts until I'm jealous of you. I'd love to trade places with you because I always wanted to be like the badass guy in the Power Rangers shows when I was watching you on Power Rangers back in the day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's that Native American guy who's good at martial arts? I thought you were Native American based on how they did your hair and presented the character. You know, I didn't know what was going on. It was a different time.
It'd be so cool to switch roles.
Yeah.
GOKU Green Ranger switch for a few days.
Oh, that would be totally awesome. That's why I came up with the idea of like just us being in a buddy like martial arts spy movie. Yeah. And then you teach me like one punch, and at the climax of the movie, I'm like, that one punch you taught me how to do, I got to do it this moment. And I do it, I get lucky, and I save the day, and you're unconscious. You're like, what happened? And you fought like all the guys, and then I just got the last guy.
Yeah, that'd be good, dude. I think
that'd be crazy.
Yeah, it would. Maybe now's the time. Now's the time. Fans will definitely love it. Fans do love you, man. And I got to be honest, everybody who meets you at shows, because you know we do a lot, people talk really highly about you, man. And
that's very nice. I appreciate that. You know.
Yeah,
I'm under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, no, you know we all are, and that's
we are.
And sometimes I try to post a lot of good stuff, but I let people know I'm like them, man. I'm going through the same thing. It's a relief to come and get away for as many minutes as we can to entertain the fans, but mostly just hanging out with you, dude, and talking to you. There's a lot of things that we hang out, talk about watches, talk about a lot of different stuff.
We talk about the only place we get a space to get a break is in the men's restroom.
I know, dude. I know.
Because it's like the green room's full, the con's full. Where are you going to get a break? The stall of the men's restroom.
Yeah, I know, dude. I know.
That's the only place you're gonna get a break.
What is your favorite song that you love? I mean, if there's one particular song or something that you play all the time, maybe there's something that you play when could you play different songs in the different moods you feel?
Well, for guitar, I'll be honest, I'm an okay guitar player. I was a professional French hornist, so I can play horn, on a professional level. Guitar and bass, I play a lot of prog rock. I use guitars to write songs. I use them to just kind of be freely, because French horn's such a discipline. It's such a strict discipline, whereas guitar can be a strict discipline, but you can also be a lot more. It's easier to be more on guitar, a little more emotionally expressive. So like, depending on what mood I'm in, there are certain songs that are like very inspirational and get me excited about like trying to win a competition. And then there are other songs that are just put me in like a state of total peace. I've mentioned publicly numerous times, I'm a massive Rush fan. I use them for inspiration a lot. I like metal. I like new age. There's a lot of new age stuff I like when I really want to chill out. A lot of synthesizer music. I like, there's a lot of classical music. My favorite composers are probably Wagner, Dvorak, Sibelius. Let's see, I'm trying to think of some. Strauss. I do like Mozart. Those are my classical guys. And there's a couple other classical guys I like. And then I like a lot of prog rock bands like Rush and Yes and King Crimson. And I love Bjork. I love, I'm trying to think of another band. I love The Darkness. I love anything that like is powerful emotionally. That and I also like listening to other music that people really like that I don't understand. Yeah. Like why does everybody love this? I forgot what song it was everyone was going nuts about a few years ago. I forgot what it was. It was some happy song, happy or some whatever. And I was like, I think it's a good song, but it wasn't grabbing me as much as it was everybody else. Like how we get affected by music and emotions is interesting to me. Yeah, me too. My daughter. I'm gonna see if there's any questions on. I've been kind of ignoring the questions on here. Yeah, I know. I have too a little bit. Just because I've been kind of doing that a little bit. But my daughter writes, and I encourage my daughter to write her feelings down, man. Are there any songs? Is there a song that can just we're talking about positive? Is there a song where it can just take you back to that? That like when I used to be depressed, unfortunately I used to listen to some music that would take me back to those days, and I had to break that habit because I got into this habit of I want to be sad, I'm gonna listen to this sad song, I think about my mom, you see what I'm saying? So I kind of forced myself not to have that emotional connection with that type of stuff unless it was happy, motivational. So sometimes I hear a song, is there anything that just
you don't have to say, but triggers you sometimes emotionally where you're like, oh, God.
Yeah, there are. It's interesting that you made that choice. That's an interesting neuroassociative idea, because basically what you're doing is you're saying, I take a song that takes me back to a place that's not positive. I don't want, and then you start drinking up that emotion and get lost in like a self-amplifying. So if the song makes you feel sad, then you start thinking about those sad feelings, and then you're feeling the song and the sadness, and then it gets all amplified because of the song and the nostalgia, etc. Yeah, I'm guilty of that. There's a few songs that are like that for me. One is called Farewell by John Donne, and it's for Celtic. It's for an instrument called a guitar harp, which is a guitar with a harp attached to it, and it's a really, really sad Celtic song. There's a lot of Irish Celtic music that makes me really sad that I really enjoy. I also, for a while I was into Celtic culture, so I was listening and learning the songs in Gaelic and learning that culture. And then there are other songs that are just like for example, that one song, Life in a Northern Town from the 80s, that reminds me of like driving my MG Midget in the rain in 1985, going to see my like high school girlfriend, and I'm like, life in a northern town, and I'm driving a midget. That's what they were called. I'm not trying to be inappropriate. It was called it was a car called an MG Midget. I had one. It was actually my mother's, but she let me and my brother drive it in high school. And I really love that car. That was a fun car. I almost drove it. One time I almost drove it. I was pulled next to a semi, and I'm like, I'm going to zip underneath that semi for a second. And then I thought, right before I was going to do it, that's a dumb idea. And I decided, it's a very small car. I mean, it's literally like a go-kart that you can, like, if you stick your hand out the door, without even opening the door, you can touch the ground. And so it was literally like driving a go-kart that'll go 100 miles an hour. Like, it was, wow. I love that car. It was so much. It had spoke wheels. It was so cool.
Dude, if you pulled that off, that would have
been like that.
If you pulled that off, that would have been cool, man.
That would have been cool. I've seen other guys do it. I'm not Fast and Furious. That's okay, the Fast and Furious movies. I don't understand why they're fast and angry. Why can't they be fast and happy? And I don't understand why it's so why there's so many of them. They didn't solve this Furious problem and the speed of it in the first three. Of course, I haven't seen any of them, so maybe they'd hook me.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you say that because Vin Diesel played Bloodshot this weekend.
That's right.
Last week, and he opened in Bloodshot. And I'm not a Vin Diesel fan. Sorry, but there's a lot of things I don't watch. But I don't also biased about watching the movie. I heard the movie was, and I think a lot is because they're saying the coronavirus. But I feel that the coronavirus doesn't enhance or change your thought process. So you can't go and be like, oh, I didn't like Dragon Ball Z because there's a coronavirus going on. I mean, content speaks for itself. So it's funny you say that. But and it's interesting you say about the internet. I'll tell you, you made me like an interesting thought about how it is helpful and how it could be hurt, but it is helpful. Back in the days when we did Power Rangers, we had to fly to interviews. Like, okay, we're going to do an interview in New York, and we would fly to New York. And I tell people FaceTime. When my mom was passing away, I'd FaceTime her. It gave me some kind of, connection. At first, FaceTime was like, I totally didn't think about it when I was like, hey, I'm a FaceTime. You're like, bro, I just woke up. And I was like, oh, yeah, I forget. Sometimes I'll get FaceTime calls and go, but it's just normal now, right?
Yeah, it's like the future. Like you do it just like a video conferencing. You could do it. I mean, all this stuff we see going on in the future is it's totally happening, except for faster than light travel, which I'm really, really hoping we'll have. But thinking about, I'm looking at the questions too.
There's let me see. I never hit this.
People are overreacting to the virus. I disagree, Mr. Silvermoon. People are not overreacting to the virus, with the exception of overreacting in terms of certain things they're buying. So in other words, there's not an overreaction to how serious it is in terms of quarantine, if that's what you're talking about. I see. I was going to say, hola, soy Goku. Somebody said,
I'm seeing someone.
Funny. Somebody just said to say, hola, soy Goku. And I made a video where they said Mario, the voice of Goku from Mexico, made a video in Spanish telling everybody what to do with the coronavirus. And I made one in fake Spanish that I didn't release because I didn't want to offend anybody because I speak fake Spanish, which is just me doing my impression of what Spanish sounds like to me. And I certainly don't want to offend anybody. And most of the people I know who are Spanish speakers, when I do it for them, they think it's very funny. But basically, it was just like me. Somebody put a giant thing in front of my face. Why is that giant Johnny Stokes in front of my face? Why is that popping in front of my face?
I clicked it. Look, I clicked it for both of us.
Oh, oh, I see. I get it. I thought John
All
was
right, so finish
like
your story.
a
Finish your
total
story,
dick. He was like, I'm going to stick the question right in front of your face.
No, I did that.
Oh, that's
to
funny.
see if it works. I never done questions like that.
Okay, so yeah, it's covered up half my face, so I can do this way. I can go like this way.
I'm just okay. Hold on. Yes,
I can do.
All right, so that was the question. What was your
my favorite episode to film? Would cause me to analyze 500 episodes and over 13 films, but in recent years, my favorite scene to film was in the Broly movie, Getting My Ass Handed to Me by Broly, where Broly is basically being the Hulk, and Goku is now Loki, and he's grabbing him by the feet, smacking him around. That was really fun to record. Recording in Battle of Gods, the Goku King Kai scene, because for those of you who don't know, I also play King Kai, so I had to do the whole scene talking as Goku, and then also as King Kai at the same, going back and forth.
Oh, God.
And then that was really fun. And then also in Dragon Ball Super, the series, I love doing, anytime there's comedy, when Goku forgets his tractor, or when Goku does the fake punch of Mr. Satan, or Goku doesn't understand a cell phone, or, he ends up in in Bulma's bedroom, and he's not supposed to be, and he doesn't understand, and she comes out of the shower, and then Vegeta's mad. That all the comedy I really, really like. Someone says, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah,
I'm looking at all the comments.
Now I'm commenting all over your face. I'm still kind of getting this together here, but it's hard when people ask me favorite episodes. I would just say the Dino Thunder Fighting Spirit. We had to come all together. I played all my Rangers. There was one part where I had to lay in the hospital and just do that, and they're like, "Cut," and I was like,
"See, my character's in the hospital. I don't get paid because I don't make any sound."
I was really getting in a character. Are you sleeping? I was like, no, I'm just getting in a character, man. So it was, it was interesting. We do a lot of conventions around the world, man. I give you credit, and I know I travel too, but that traveling around, I'm a pillow guy. I love pillows.
How many cons a year do you do?
I probably did like 40 last year.
You're
maybe.
Crazy. I can barely do 10 to 15. That kicked my ass.
Yeah.
In fact, so much so, I'm such a sensitive sleeper. People know this about me. I will sometimes get to my hotel room, and the bed is so hard, I'll go to Bed Bath & Beyond, and I'll buy a 3-inch foam Tempur-Pedic topper, and I'll put it on my hotel room bed, and then I'll not let them clean my room for the whole time I'm there because I don't want them to take it. I'm afraid they'll take it. And then I'll just leave it in the hotel room.
Yeah. Well, I heard
it's worth it.
You. I'm a pillow guy, so I do pillow reviews. Sorry, all the comments are in your face.
You do pillow reviews?
I do pillow reviews, and people love it. They like everything else. They're like, hey, when's your pillow review coming up?
Dude, I gotta check. I gotta show you this cool pillow my girlfriend got because she has a head injury. Because of that, back of her head on the right, she bought this special pillow that shaped looks like a ninja star. That she said she's trying to get me to use. She says it's the greatest pillow she's ever used, and you should do a pillow review of it. I can go get it. I can go right now and get it and show it to you.
That'd be awesome.
See
man.
it?
I want to see
it.
All right,
hang on. Let me put my guitar up.
Okay. All right, buddy.
That's my amp. Hang on. Let me show you. There we go. I'll be right back.
Okay, buddy.
Hang on. Hey, Bree. Jason does.
Yeah, there we go. How are you guys doing? If you guys just tuned in, this is JDF, and I'm talking to Sean, who plays Goku, many other voices. We do have giveaways if you tuned in. We're giving away the Zeo Ranger pictures. So all you got to do is comment online. And Sean is actually getting a pillow because I love pillows. All right.
So this is a small version of the pillow my girlfriend bought for her head, and it's designed to where you can have supports. It's really for people who want to have beautification of their face, so their face is squished into their pillow.
Yeah.
For makeup and stuff. So you've got support here, and then your face is not touching the edge. And she uses it to do strategic placement of head support around her head injury, so that she's got a larger one that's really big.
Wow.
She's on the couch, and it's like a satiny silk feel, but it's got, I call it her ninja star pillow.
Dude, totally.
By the way, you know there's a ninja school right by my, well, I'm not going to tell you because then you'll look it up and people know where I live, but I don't want people to know where I live, no offense. Because I've had people come to I've had stalkers come to my door, so it's.
Yeah, I know, dude. People that I had a guy come to Comic-Con, we talked about that last time, but I have to check out one of those pillows, dude.
Yeah,
I'm like a big pillow guy.
Like a big one and a small one. I forgot what the name is. What is the name of it? Let's see. I don't know if it's got a name on it.
you're into the pillow, the mattress.
Yes.
And I'm kind of into pillows, but I bet you that would be a good thing too, because I think people don't understand. A lot of our life is lived on the road, and sleep is the most important thing, dude. I want to be comfortable, man. I've been at some hotels. Oh my God, what happens when you get into an people look, and I think people don't understand when you're flying first class or getting into a nice hotel. People don't understand what it is, the convenience of coming in and out, traveling over 600,000 miles that I have. It's the convenience of coming in and out in a hotel that's like good mattress and pillow. It's like an air conditioner. It really is.
Did you notice that? Like most of the beds you stay in hotels, to me, they're always too hard. Are they too hard to you? Or they're always too hard.
They're hard. I don't.
Hard.
The few of them. There's a few hotels that the West. I'm not too sure. There's a few of them that I hit some really good pillows and a bed, but very rare.
That's funny. Someone just called that pillow the wrench pillow. I got
a wrench pillow. Okay,
here, I'll do some harmonics. Wait.
All right.
Wait. Can you hear my harmonics? Wait. Can you hear the harmonic?
Nice.
What I'm doing is I'm hitting the harmonics.
Dude, you have to.
And then I'm grabbing the whammy bar.
Next time you come.
And I'm going.
You need to teach me something.
What's that?
You just need to teach me something. I know we're so busy and it's almost impossible, but just something I can say. I'll learn from you, dude. I know nothing about it.
You got to figure out, like, I think with guitar, it's also important to figure out, like, do you want to rock or do you want to play, like, acoustic guitar?
Right. It's like karate.
I can see you, style. If you want to rock, then I would say get yourself an Ibanez and with a Floyd Rose on it. Like this one has a Floyd Rose licensed tremolo, and then it has a locking nut, and that way it'll stay in tune and you can wank on the whammy bar all day.
Nice, man.
Just start rock out some Journey. Acoustic. Someone says acoustic. I'm down with acoustic, yes. And one of my favorite acoustic guys is Alex DeGrassi. He's one of the greatest acoustic guitar players of all time. And one of my favorite records is The Water Garden, which I listen to hundreds and hundreds of times traveling to New Zealand on a mini disc player just to sleep on planes. It's an album called The Water Garden. A really, really great record by Alex DeGrassi, just expertly recorded. I also love a record that is extremely well recorded. Like, I will listen to a record for two reasons, many reasons. One would be the music, and then the other would be the engineering. So, like, there's some records, I don't necessarily like the music that much, but I love how they recorded it so much. I will just listen to it for the engineering.
Yeah.
Just for the quality of the sound, the ear candy of how they recorded it. And there are others that aren't recorded well that are brilliantly composed. And then if you get all the best of both worlds, you get like a record that has like, perfect engineering and recording and perfect composition and perfect performances. Then your brain just, lights up. Someone says, JDF, did you learn any guitar when you were on Sweet Valley High? It's funny because my girlfriend's working with Sweet Valley. That's funny.
I got to tell you about that. Guitar.
Tell me.
This is why people build insecurities, dude. All right, my biggest thing is singing, all right? Singing and dancing is just one of those things where I know people, get over your fears. I do everything, jump hot air balloons, skydiving, breaking boards. But guitar, I always wanted to play guitar. And, you get insecure about your stuff. You're like, hey, I don't play or whatever. So I'm playing a guy, like a rock guy on Sweet Valley High, and I got a guitar. So I figure, well, we're shooting and there's MOS, no sound. Everyone's dancing to nothing. And I'm playing the guitar, trying to look like I know how to play guitar. This extra was up front, and he's like, you suck at guitar. And I said, yeah, okay, man. I'm trying to film 3 times.
And you went, you're an extra.
3 times until I said, hey, man, can you remove this guy? Because he was getting in my head. So little things like that, I think. It was. And so I never picked up, not because of him, just because, the last thing you want to do is do karate and someone goes, that sucks. It doesn't matter. It's just kind of like, obviously he's a guitar player and he's not going to be an actor and come on stage. And he was an extra. Yeah. He had to 3 times. That reminds me. So yeah, I did play a rocker on Sweet Valley High. Definitely, you can look at my hands and know that I'm definitely faking it. I wish I had a little bit more training, but that's right. That reminds me of that.
Well, that was cool for him to say that at all, especially as an extra. And secondly, it's like, what's your point? Like, are you suddenly going to get better at guitar by somebody telling you suck at it?
Someone in the audience going, boo, Boo, one.
Yeah, that would the direct. Yeah, that should not be happening on set. But which is surprising that he did that.
Yeah.
Maybe he's jealous that you were one of the Power Rangers. Who knows? Or that was in Sweet Valley High, right?
Yeah, that was Sweet Valley High, but I was still a Power Ranger. Was the big show then? So yeah, for
that's
sure.
true. That's true. Let's see what other people saying. Goku, that was you on Sweet Valley High show. Goku, hello. But you never said you was a rock god. Wait, I'm not. I'm a French horn god. No, I'm kidding. This is really cool that you've done this though. How many people you had on so far?
Okay, this is a really good high-rated episode. Once I click, it will show all the views that are on there. And the good thing is that I'll put this on YouTube too, so it'll just get extra views. But I think people...
I do need toilet paper, by the way. Sorry to interrupt, Jason. Somebody just asked if we need toilet paper. I've been actually shopping for... Hey, there's Aaron Coney. I've been shopping for bidets because when I was in Japan, I really fell in love with bidets, and I have not been able to find the one that will fit in my house because the ones in Japan are so badass. The one in my hotel room, when you walked in the room, the lid would open up, and then the light would show up even in the middle of the night, and it's like, you want to go to the...
It was welcoming.
It was hilarious.
And you're smart, though, dude. You're smart for that.
I'm reading what people... Yeah. What's that?
You're smart on that, because when I went to Japan, too, I went to your... your statue was there. What is it, Funimation, or what was in Japan, or what?
Toei Animation's in Japan. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, I went there. Yeah, I went there for the Power Rangers, and I went there for the anime stuff. You know, it was like, yeah, it was pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. But what is, I promised a few people I'd ask, what are any tips? Like I talked to my instructor, I talked to Aaron, the director. I know everybody, wants to try this and wants to try that. I tell everyone sharpen the sword and practice. But is there any tips you can give a voice actor? I'm not saying get a job. I'm saying any one thing that can make your voice either more clear, more powerful, if it's moving your body and keeping your head on the mic. Because I've done some voice acting, and it was different. I've done a lot of ADR for Power Rangers, but a lot of, a lot of human stuff. So what can you give? I mean, what do you do? Like, do you have to move? Do you sit down? Do you, express your body through all those voices? It's exhausting.
Well, the problem with ADR is like, and some, it's changing a little bit because they're using new technology, but the problem with ADR is like, you got to stay fundamentally still unless you have very quiet, like if you have noisy clothes on, if you're moving around, there's videos of me, you'll see me in the booth. I'm moving a little bit, but I'm usually keeping track of where I am on the area of the large diaphragm condenser microphone. As far as like, basic vocal technique is concerned, one of the things I noticed is that make sure you have really good monitoring. What people do is they're screaming or yelling or doing something loud, and then they have the cans too quiet, and so then you can't hear yourself well, and then you over scream and you wear your voice out faster. Chris Sabat and I have talked about situations where the studio didn't have good monitoring and we blew our voices out faster than we would otherwise. They'll say, well, it's bad to crank your cans. I've been cranking my cans my entire career, and I only have hearing loss in my left ear due to a virus. My right ear is still better than most, because also when you're acting and yelling that loud, you're opening your mouth, and there are muscles that are activating and kind of protecting yours a little bit, but you got to have those certain, you have to make sure you understand the technique right, and you don't want your ears to be hurting or ringing. And if you crank the cans up too loud and they're ringing after a session, yeah, they're definitely too loud. They don't ring for me. So standing is always real important. I do believe in standing. Huge amounts of air and breath support. You want to definitely use proper technique and pay attention to the kind of pain you're getting. If you're getting like really sharp pain, that's really painful, don't be afraid to can the session. Some people will push through a session because they don't want to disappoint the director, or they're on a deadline and then they permanently damage their voice. I'll call a session if I'm hurting, but I won't call it unless I know I'm really hurting. I don't, I wouldn't call it unless I really had to not, so he goes, I like the King Kai voice. Me too. It's one of my favorite voices to do.
There you go.
Yeah. When you do. So yeah, so he's going, hi, May. Sean, who would win in a fight of Goku or Natsu? I don't know who Natsu is. Which one's Nat? Is Natsu a Power Ranger character?
I'm not too sure on that one. When I did the voice stuff, just like the Transformers, and the sucky part is we didn't have picture for that, so that was disappointing. We didn't have really too much picture for.
You didn't have picture for what?
For when I did Transformers in the beginning, we didn't have really too much picture, so I had to do it different ways. So when I see it now, I just
Are you talking about reactions or the acting?
yeah, just the cartoon or the series as well. I just had to do it to a black screen. Just do it different ways. Can't watch nothing. I don't see the way the body moves. So I mean, I don't know if that's normal.
I agree with you. This is an industry issue. One of the things I've been trying to implore people to do is, I've noticed this in my own work, where I don't mind doing prelay and laying down lines before animation, but most of my work's dubbing. Where I do take an issue is when I'm doing a prelay show, meaning we're laying down lines first and they're going to animate later, and then they're like, your character falls down a hill or your character gets punched. Do a bunch of reacts for us to stick in later. And that's fine. I get that why they're trying to do that, because it makes sense from an expediency perspective. But the number of times I've seen it to where if I had just got to see the reactions and I react to picture, it would have been better, because animators aren't actors. No offense to animators. They do a great, amazing thing that I'm terrible at that I can't do. But they oftentimes don't catch the specific thing I'm doing. And so I'll find, like, sometimes even if I'm doing prelay, the facial expression for the acting I was doing doesn't match. Whereas if I'm doing a dub, I get a lot of data from, especially on physical reactions, that I can match the animation a lot better than an animator can match my voice acting. And so my philosophy for prelay is prelay the lines and then do ADR for the reactions with final animation. Whereas most studios prelay everything, and then you might do some ADR pickups to clean some things up. But I'd prefer to just dub all reactions, because I definitely respond easier. That's the reason you're frustrated, is because you did a bunch of reactions, you saw the final product, right, and it didn't match up right, right? In terms of, not in terms of where it hits, but the kind of reaction you're doing for a fight move is not the same as what they drew, right? And it doesn't, and it doesn't conflict in your head a bit.
I think also,
is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it was kind of, I think it was a new thing. It was like my first thing, Transformers, Titans Return. So it was a lot of, I'm just, here's the mic, here's the lights. I did take off my chain because I had a chain, so I noticed that was making noise. Just little things like that. Probably a little stress, but I really couldn't see. I'm used to seeing, all right, guys, let's go. Yeah, I guess I was used to seeing.
That's helpful. That's really helpful. By the way, Adam Panu is going to bed, and he said, "Can he say good night?" So, Adam Panu, good night, Adam Panu. Thank you.
Good night, buddy.
I don't know if I said his name right. Sorry. Sean, the wife and I are currently playing DBZ Kakarot. Love the work, as always. Thank you very much, the Dork Knight 75. Which Goku do you like, Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan 4? Super Saiyan God mode, probably. Anyway, sorry. Great conversation and insight. Have a great night. Red Ranger is better than the Green Ranger.
that's good for me. People forget I was the red, dude. I was the red Zeo too. So hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
There you go.
I was red Zeo and red
I love that headshot. That's so great.
Yeah, I'm covering all colors there. But no, man, I just wanted to thank you for that, man. And if there's anything maybe you want to tell the fans where they can join, anything you want to play, anything you want to say, I do want to leave out with play a little bit.
Sorry, I was rocking.
Rock out something.
No, I was just, I'm not ready to perform. I was just noodling around just to be silly. But I just want to say to everybody, stay safe. Really pay attention to, I think it's very educational to pay attention to the biology regarding this, because if you understand the biology, you understand what you have to do. And basically, interacting with other humans, you can get sick currently, and just and here's another thing. Like, for example, I just got a new desk for my my recording studio, and I left it in the box for 3 or 4 days because the coronavirus can live on cardboard. So somebody at the factory packed my box. So when I get packages, although I'm not getting any currently, I'll let them sit for 3 or 4 or 5 days before I open them, because if someone packed it who has coronavirus, it can live on cardboard and other surfaces for, I think, 3 days, maybe longer. So I just wait. So
that includes like people delivering your food and stuff too, I would imagine.
Exactly. You got to be careful. Well, I don't take food delivery currently, but we'd have our groceries delivered sometimes. Yeah. We have our groceries delivered, and I might have to have them delivered because I can't be in a grocery store. So I have to let them sit out there for a minute. I'm cooking everything. We're just trying to, and hopefully you and I will be back on the circuit in person, and we can, thank everybody for all their support while we've been gone. I think everyone appreciates it now, man. I appreciate it. I reach out to you. I don't ask anything from my friends, and I just figure, we'll take this time. Give me my honor, Jason, something to do, and you always so great to your fans, man, and I just thank you, man, for that. But yeah, also, okay, your Instagram. Where can they follow you on Instagram? My Instagram is Soulless21, which is a Gaelic word meaning sun. And
That's
Soulless21. Yeah, that's at Soulless21. That's me. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not verified or whatever, but that is legit. I don't, by the way, for those of you who are trying to find me, I haven't been on Facebook in years. So anything on there is fake that has my name on it.
Yeah.
That's not me. I only have Twitter at Sean Schimmel and Instagram, neither of which I really want, not because I don't love my fans, because I do, but because I'm mad that Facebook was allowed to influence our elections, and then they let Facebook exist in Russia, and they let Twitter exist in other countries, and Instagram.
Oh, you are just buffering.
Anyway,
I think someone hit a little virus in our Instagram stream. As soon as you said that, it went bloop, it paused you.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
No, I'm on 10%. My phone's about to die. I'm gonna let you guys go.
Yeah, no problem, man.
But
I just wanted to thank you, man. I really appreciate it. But before you leave, you need to say your thing, and I need to say it's morphin' time.
Oh yeah, Kamehame.
All right, Sean. Thank you, dude.
All right.
All right, buddy. I'll talk soon, man. Thank you so much. Wow, that was awesome, man. Sean is amazing. Sean, thank you, dude. That was Goku giving away some Zeo Ranger 8x10s. This is the JDF live, the IG live show that you guys are watching. I have a big lineup. Sean, thank you, dude. Goku, voice actor, Universe Dragon Ball Z, musician, writer, very talented. As you can see, he's playing guitars and he loves his fans, which is amazing. That's why this lineup I have is super, super incredible. I'm not going to tell you with all the details because I literally probably got 18 days straight. So tomorrow at 7 p.m., that's Central Time, every day. If you miss it, you can go to YouTube at JDFFFN. But we had Leo Rush, Chris Casamassa, Mike Rome, Jimmy J, Bat in the Sun, and we just had Sean Schimmel. So came. He's joined us as Goku. Now, tomorrow and Monday, we have Adrian Morrison. He's an e-commerce, I already told you, very successful businessman. Can teach you kind of how to, I guess, make a little money at home as well. 10,000 students worldwide, one of the biggest social media influences there are. He has a ton of Instagram followers. You can go look at Adrian Morrison. Now, how I know him is because he's a Green Ranger and a White Ranger fan. They made these Louis Vuitton helmets that I have. I will show you the Lord Draken Louis Vuitton helmet and the White Ranger Louis Vuitton helmet. This is a fan made this for me. It's got Louis Vuitton print. Anyway, the owner of the Louis Vuitton green helmet was Adrian. So he owns the helmet. I told him to bring the Louis Vuitton helmet, and we'll talk about artists. We'll talk about all that stuff. Bring it tomorrow. But he also has one of the coolest Versace Green Ranger paintings there is. Now, this guy's not only a businessman, he donates and he gives back to kids at Christmas, gives back to animals, very giving guy. And I really, truly believe that if you give, then you'll receive. If you give with not expecting, then you shall receive. We got Derek Thieler, who's baby daddy. Also, he played on Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe. We got Derek Thieler. We got John Hennigan. We got Nakia, Catherine, Aaron. I know you're on there. We're going to talk Hustle Matters. Jason Font, Chris Katata, YouTube sensation. We also have Rob Liefeld. He's the creator of Deadpool, Cable, X-Force, and the list goes on and on. We just confirmed Kevin Sorbo's coming on there. Sony, she's going to share some great cosplay tips. Every day I'm trying to bring value to everyone out there. I don't expect anything. I'm just trying to give some free giveaways and really trying to just stay mentally healthy. So I appreciate you allowing me to do the show. Tomorrow, join us for Adrian Morrison e-commerce. And then Monday, we'll go with Chris Sabat Vegeta. He'll be playing. He won't be playing that character online, but he'll be sharing some thoughts with you, and we'll just be shooting the breeze. So I wanted to thank you guys for everything. We have 86,400 seconds a day, and I appreciate you allowing the time to come into the JDF IG live. Follow Sean. His Instagram is here because I guess it's Soulless21. Soulless21. Follow him. Share the love, man. Be good. Be kind to everyone. God bless everyone that's watching. I know we're going to get through this stuff, man. And we are strong nation, the country, the world. You know, nothing can defeat us. We are overcoming things, but stay safe, stay indoors, follow the rules, you know, and just believe that we will get through it. So Dragon Ball Z and Power Rangers has collided today.